Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tyshawn Jackson, in here with my co-host, Ryan Ketchens.
All new conversation, new headphones, we kicking.
Absolutely. Empty studio, but it's a packed house in here today.
Agreed.
Because we have something very special for you guys. It is election week, and we have put together an all-star panel. We are in here rocking with a frequent flyer, D1, Melanie King, Anthony Logan, and Ashley Allison is here today. And we talking election 2024. Trump or Harris, who you got? Let's get to it. Welcome to Hardly Initiated. It is your host, Tyshawn Jackson, my co-host, Ryan Ketchens.
I can already tell, man. It's going to be a powerful one right here.
You need to watch too.
I like that.
I discovered porn when I was a child. My mom.
To get that white man's option out of him. Pursued me, I ran.
It's the brother I want, don't care.
This is dope.
You need to have a threesome. There you go. When you misguided now.
Let's get it, family. We
I'm
are
excited.
in here.
Listen, I like that. I like that.
We are ready.
Yo, shout out to all initiates joining us tonight. I want you to go ahead and claim where you stand. Drop red or blue in the chat to let us know how you are going to show up for the poll tomorrow. And I'm excited, man.
Yes, we
This
are.
is very new for us.
This is very new for us, guys. Y'all know we typically are talking relationships, anything that has to do with improving our families, improving our communities. But
Right.
the community is saying y'all got to get involved in this conversation because right now, this is what is impacting our families and communities. So because of that, all week long, y'all, we having this conversation. We even are going to do something special tomorrow. It's typically Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m., but we're going to do something here special tomorrow.
We are absolutely ready to go crazy. It's going to be a phenomenal show tonight, guys. Now, listen, let your voice be heard. All super chats will be highlighted right at the bottom of the screen, so you can check that out all through the evening. Also, any super chat over $20 will be read. We actually had to increase it because we know the chats is going to be crazy this evening. And, guys, don't forget, we are live every Monday and Wednesday at 8. Tyshawn told you we got something special coming for you tomorrow. And also, like and subscribe. Let's sub it up, guys. It's so many people in the chat.
Yeah.
Ghost watch.
Yeah.
We need you to officially become a part of the community. So sub it up. We got the conversations you have been asking for. Let's get it.
And listen, guys, this is a big show. The purpose of this show here, just so you know, is so we can be educated before we make some of the biggest decisions of the next 4 years. Because listen, it's Harris versus Trump, it's conservative versus liberal, it's Democrat versus Republican. Right. Some people saying it's man versus woman.
First off, the political conversation very much seems to be a gender conversation as well, because I mean, it's like we getting pulled over to the side by the brothers, by the sisters, asked us, hey, what does this mean? All the men I'm speaking to are voting this way, all the women that I'm speaking to are voting this way. I think we're in trouble, but I don't know if it's trouble. I think we just need to have a conversation. And
that's why we've brought the people here we have today. Let's actually introduce this incredible panel we have here today. I'm going to start with my sister here, political commentator. She has grown over 730,000 YouTube subscribers and probably 1 million on all platforms up to this point. Very vocal about this upcoming election and is advocating for Trump this year in this upcoming election. I got Melanie King here. Welcome to the platform, Melanie. Great to have you here with us, sister.
What's up?
It's good to be here. Thank you guys for inviting me. I'm looking forward to it.
Listen, I'm very excited about some of the things that you got to say. Once I saw some of those videos you put up on YouTube, I said, oh, this is very interesting stuff.
Very interesting, very captivating. So excited to get into it. Next, right over here next to you, I got a brother here who's really been growing a really powerful channel, conservative political commentator, founder and creator of ABL's YouTube page, over 1 million subs. I'm in here rocking with Anthony B. Logan. Welcome to Hardly Initiated, my brother.
Glad to be here. I'm excited. This is a long time coming. I got a lot to say tonight.
I can already tell. He's got the flags in the back. He's ready.
Oh, first off, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Glad to have you here, Anthony. And we got a frequent flyer here of the channel, man. You talking rapper, author, educator, activist here. And one of my favorite people that pop up on my timeline.
Big
and
facts.
My brother here, man. D1, welcome back to Hardly Initiated, my brother.
I appreciate it, my brothers, my family. I appreciate y'all to the fullest, for real. And thank you, everyone that's watching tonight. Thank you, everyone that's a part of this. I'm glad that we're all in this together. And I think we have an opportunity tonight to also model for the rest of the nation what it looks like to coexist with people who may not have the exact same viewpoints as you, because I think that's very, very important during this time, especially as we lead into this election.
Absolutely. And just to be clear, my man, this upcoming election, D1 is advocating for Kamala Harris here in the upcoming election. But thank you so much for making that for really setting a tone on that note, D1. And listen, last but not least, okay, very powerful sister we in here rocking with, CNN commentator, and also, this is super exciting, the Biden and Harris campaign senior advisor with more than 15 years experience.
Wow.
Building campaigns and strategies that led to victories. And I think you expecting an upcoming victory here tomorrow as well. Aren't we right about that, sister?
Well, we know we have a lot of voters we got to turn out tomorrow. We're not taking anything for granted, but we are hopeful, we are joyful, and we are pushing for a Kamala Harris win. So I'm glad to be here. This is my first time. So thanks for having me.
Welcome to Hardly Initiated, Ashley Allison. It is a blessing to have you and all four of you guys here today. Ryan, let us know the rules so we can understand what we're getting into here today.
Real quick breakdown for tonight, guys. Tonight's conversation will cover some key issues one by one, okay? Toward the end of the debate, we'll open up the phone lines to hear directly from you, the initiates, and of course, to our panelists, please refrain from personal attacks and excessive interruptions. I know we won't have an issue with that, but if we do, we gonna moderate. We'll do some moderation. We'll drop to him.
That's my job.
You're right. Shout out to all the viewers and our lovely, brave, courageous initiates. Everything. Keep the comments respectful. Moderation will be enforced as needed. So I'm actually gonna make a couple new people some mods tonight. Audience polls will also be launched prior to each segment and will be closed at each segment's conclusion, so we can live time get an idea of exactly what you think and exactly where you stand. And of course, again, all super chats over $20 will be read live on air by myself.
Absolutely. And we cannot forget that this episode here is brought to you by the Hardly in Love dating cards, your number one conversational piece that you got to have at home. You got to keep them in your cars. 100 open-ended questions to spark incredible conversations, whether it's when your friendships, your relationships, your date nights, your late nights, however you want to call it. Got to have these in here.
And the thing
that's
is,
in the description.
We snuck some political questions in there as well, if I'm not mistaken. So
oh, wow.
we can really get those popping.
You know what? So let's go ahead and get it started. Ryan, take us in here to the first important section here of the conversation, because I'm very excited to get to it.
So, guys, it's just very simple, guys. And keep in mind, we want you to be aggressive, right? Not a bunch of interruptions, but we do want you to be aggressive. So if you do have something to say, Delano's going to bring you right up. But this conversation really is about how people are making decisions. And a lot of our viewers, initiates, and everybody in the world is making decisions based on character. So there have been a couple of media personalities, politicians, commentators really giving way to what they think about the other one in each character. So we got a couple of things that I'm gonna just list here, and we'll talk about a few of them. So you got Trump, right, who has been convicted of a felony, 34 counts, and has even been in the past found liable for sexual abuse and defamation. So we'll just start there, guys. Can a conviction and criminal record so recent as this felony be forgiven prior to the election?
Okay, now if you ask me, there's only 3 qualifications to become the president, just 3. 35 years old, natural born U.S. citizen, and you got lived in the USA for 14 years. That's it. So if you're a felon, whatever it is, if the people want you and you have those 3 qualifications, you're good to go. It doesn't really matter. Now, somebody can say, hey, you know what? He was convicted of this. Although, look, if you get a rape conviction, you don't get locked up. I mean, be serious. But anyway, you can see it and be like, you know what? I don't like that. I'm not going to vote for him. But you can't get him off the ballot because of that. That's not how that works at all.
Yeah, I'll jump in here. I think, I started my career actually, I'm working in criminal justice reform. So I am an avid believer of reentering into society, working hard, that if you served your time, you should be able to reintegrate. You should be able to vote, even though that's not the case. The thing with Donald Trump is that he's been convicted, and he's been able to kind of work around the system to not even have his sentencing hearing. So, and there are many trials that he is pending, the one in Georgia, the one in Florida with documents that he took out of custody that were privileged documents that you are not supposed to be able to do. I know personally, I used to work at the White House. I know what it's like to not be allowed to take certain documents out of that. And I was nowhere close to being the president of the United States. Also, the insurrection case that Jack Smith is pending. We won't see those things happen before the election. So he has not been found guilty. But most people who look like us never would have the opportunity to stall and delay having the criminal justice system come and make decisions. Now, if you're the president of the United States, you have some really big choices that you need to make. And I want to make sure that when you're making them, that you have the American people, Democrat or Republican, best interest at heart. And if you're thinking about getting rid of or setting your Department of Justice up so that you won't have to worry about any further conviction, that's part of the character that people are talking about. And that is part of the things. And you're right. By the Constitution, it's not disqualifying. But the question is, should it be disqualifying when a voter goes into the ballot box?
It's funny that you bring up criminal justice reform because it was Van Jones who went to Donald Trump when he became president with a group of black men that could not get it passed through Obama. And he cried in his office, and Trump had never heard of it. And then he said, well, of course I'll do this. And so he made some calls and he made sure that it got passed. And then after that, Van Jones became a snake and act like, Trump now hates black people and he's going to lock all these black people up when he was literally the person that passed that. So it's just interesting. And I also think that many of us believe that those cases were lawfare. They were just meant and designed to, try to destroy Trump. And let me just say this, I'm independent. So I started getting into politics investigating the Georgia case because I saw some of the corruption going on with Fani Willis, and not just the headlines, but I deeply investigated, went through the documents, listened to hours of testimony, did all of that. And I found so much corruption there. And even looking into the YSL case and how lackluster and really the case was just a disaster. And then I started looking into the case with Trump down there in Georgia, the RICO case, which it seemed like Fani Willis wanted to build her name off of that. And then we saw it was basically malpractice how it was handled. And there's a lot of details I don't want to go into, but the case was just negligent on many levels. And then just looking at the case in New York, I mean, all of the people know these are politically motivated. We have civil rights leaders that were locked up and tried. Just because the government tries you on stuff, just because they nitpick and try to dig into anybody's background, all of us could probably, if they comb through 7 years of our tax returns, could probably find something and say that, put us on trial just because they don't like you. So, in the 34 count felonies, these are bookkeeping things. These aren't like, he's out here a hardened criminal doing all these different things. But regardless of that, most people, feel somewhat empathy, those who are already supporting him, and then seeing all those things come against him, those who weren't supporting him. I've heard more people say that this was some BS. And I think most people would agree with that. And so the 34 felony count, it means nothing. If that was the case, then, some of our great leaders, they at the time were breaking the law of the U.S. technically, but we know that the justice system has been used against black people and political enemies since the beginning, the foundation of this country. So if that was the measure, I mean, we can go into a lot of things. So it doesn't make a difference, at least to me and most of the people I talk to. If you're already a Democrat or you're already supporting Kamala Harris, then this is something that, keep bringing up. But I actually think it's weird when I hear black people bring up, felony counts, because we know how the justice system has been used against us many times. And therefore black people to then say, oh, look, he's criminal, he has this background. It's just speaking out of both sides of our mouth.
D1, I see a bunch of facial expressions being made by you, brother. What you over there thinking, D1?
Yo, let me bring some common sense to the conversation. Yo, this is the easiest election ever. Like, Donald Trump can't even be taken seriously. Like, by anybody who's using common sense, he can't even be taken seriously when we're talking about character, when we're talking about intelligence, when we're talking about these type of issues and many more issues. He has set the bar so low during his time of wanting to be a politician, right? That now people accept things from him, sound bites. It doesn't even make sense. They're super divisive. He's a fear mongerer. He makes you feel like if he doesn't get elected, the United States is about to turn into a third world country. You heard me? He literally uses this type of rhetoric to make people feel fearful that if he's not in charge, oh my gosh, this country is about to just go down the drain and they're going to be eating animals in front of your face, and you got all these rapists and all these people, these thugs that's getting into the country, and they're going to come for you and come for your job. And it's so divisive, y'all. Like, it's to the point where this ain't even a real conversation. Like, it's really not. And there's people whose intelligence I really respect, but unfortunately, like, we've gotten to the point where he's still calling Democrats demons, calling people demonic. And it has a whole bunch of people saying, well, since he's setting the tone and he's making it okay to refer to people like this, now I'm a man of God. I'm a Christian, right? I'm also an independent when it comes to political affiliation at this stage in my life. It's to the point to where I see so many Christians who, unfortunately, following their leader, they're not even Republicans, they're Trumplicans, you heard me? Like, they literally are part of like a cult, to the point where if he sets the tone and says that if you're a Democrat, then that's a demonic party, then you got all these Christians who are online right now telling other Christians, we all praising the same Jesus. They're saying, you're not really Christian if you vote for Kamala Harris. You're not really Christian if you would ever vote for a Democrat. And now you got Christians who are at war with one another, literally, over the type of rhetoric that this man and other pastors who claim to be prophets, and they in front their pulpit on a Sunday morning constantly saying, yo, if you don't vote for Trump, it's these Christian nationalists who saying if you don't vote for Trump, if you don't vote Republican, then you can't really be a Christian. And it's just, this is all, like, we're making it seem like his character is really something for us to take serious as having elected as the leader of our country. God is still in control, and we're going to be fine regardless. But in terms of taking him seriously as a political candidate, nah, y'all, like, let's use our common sense, man. This ain't that hard.
Now, let's talk about this too, because it's not just, whenever a presidential campaign comes up, everybody's dirt comes to the surface.
Right.
Or supposedly. It's not just Donald Trump's character that they say is flawed. There are also a lot of claims about Kamala's character as well. And I think you got some facts on that, right?
It's very different, right, from, you know, the former President Trump, who has is his fact that he has been convicted. Now, on the opposite end, you do have also political commentators and people, let's say Judge Joe Brown, who even went as far as to call her a derogatory name in his description of her, or to address her. And he coined her as lazy and lacking professionalism. Now, this is with his experience, you know, as a prosecutor or in California as well, along with her. So with, you know, somebody, let's say like Judge Joe Brown, okay, who is respected in his field, with him stating that Kamala has, well, not only the lazy and the lack of professionalism, but also alleged promiscuity within the ranks in California during her professional tenure as a prosecutor. What do you guys think about this? Is that important? Is how someone conducts themselves sexually important when it comes to the vote?
Yes. I went last time, so I'll go first this time.
Go ahead, D.
How you conduct yourself sexually? Well, I know that Trump is on camera saying that you know, about grabbing women by the PUSSY and just just talking like, yeah, when you're a celebrity, they just do whatever you want. They let you do whatever. And he's talking like this about women. This is documented, y'all. I know that Trump.
I don't understand the controversy.
Hold on.
I don't get it.
Don't do like Trump. Hold on, calm down, brother.
I don't understand the controversy. Why is it a bad thing, though?
No. We're not doing that. All right. So with that being said, Trump is the person who has paid off a porn star to try to hide the fact that he was cheating on his wife with a whole porn star, and there's that whole case and all of this type of stuff. Trump is the one that's been married, I think, 3 times at this point. Trump is the one who, when we talk about being a Christian, he wants to pander for the Christian vote. Then when he's at Liberty University speaking to the students, he's quoting the Bible and he's reading 2 Corinthians, and he calls it 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians. As a man of God, when you're reading the Bible, you know what 1 Corinthians and 2 Corinthians is, not 2 Corinthians. He's selling Bibles for $59.99 and putting the Constitution inside the Bible and the Pledge of Allegiance to try to mix this God and country stuff to where it's like, yeah, it's all one thing. And you got people who are like thinking that this is cool somehow, like this is not an abomination. So when we talk about sex and we talk about sexual acts and we talk about paying off porn stars and being married and cheating on your wife, bringing your mistress on vacation with you and your wife, you heard me, and trying to have them both on vacation with you at the same time, this isn't alleged stuff. This is documented stuff. We ain't really got this. This the easiest election ever. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. I'm done.
Everything you're saying is okay. Let's say that that's all true. I don't care. It doesn't put groceries in my refrigerator. It's not.
Don't nobody care about
helping me
that.
Gas up my car. It has irrelevance. And then let's talk about Bill Clinton, who actually in the Oval Office disgraced it and is now out campaigning for Kamala Harris. I'm not going to get into all of Bill Clinton, but let's go there. She had Lizzo, who is campaigning for her. She actually has currently a sexual assault case on her with her own dancers. We can go into Usher, into Diddy, the list goes on. Eminem and the things that he said about women and gay people and everyone else. Like, I mean, the list goes on and on. So if we want to take some moral high ground, there's room to, we can go there, but the layers go pretty deep. We could talk about even Doug Emhoff, and having an affair with his nanny and all it. I mean, we in this country, I get that, and they try to throw these things out there and that Trump has done this. Quite frankly, I don't care, and I don't think most people care. Right now, people are struggling, and whatever happened in his bedroom, that's between him and his wife. I don't look to my president to be my moral leader and my guide and my God, and that's how I'm going to live my life. I need him to run the country, him or her, to run the country in a way that we are not in the place that we are right now. So all of this, it's just gossip. It feels like schoolgirl gossip, and he did this, and he had a girl over here, and he said this. I don't care, and I don't think most people do.
You see how low you set the bar? You see that? You see how low you set the bar?
Who cares though? But don't nobody care. But look, we're talking about real things. Hold on.
Hold on, 1 second, guys. 1 second. Let me actually go ahead and hear Ashley respond on this one, because I think you were coming back with something. Ashley, what you got for us?
Well, I just want people to be consistent. If you don't care, I think that the attack on the vice president and that Joe Brown was saying is irrelevant and inaccurate. And to call her lazy, you cannot become a DA. You cannot become and be elected by the largest state in the country and the second largest Department of Justice in the country, which is California. You don't become a sitting senator. You don't become the vice president of the United States and be lazy. Like those things, Donald Trump is not lazy either. Mike Pence was not lazy. You're not running across the country campaigning. So I think applying those labels already kind of disqualifies your point in and of itself. So I'm not calling either side lazy, but to label that on to a Black woman, I think is problematic. I also think, to Melanie's point, I think if it doesn't matter for Donald Trump, then like it should be irrelevant for Kamala Harris. But what I often hear in conversations is there's this inconsistency. It's if one side does one thing incorrectly, I don't know if I would support a Democrat that was convicted of 34 felonies. I think what I like to do is set a bar for where my leaders are. And I don't actually want my president to tell me who I should worship. I'm a Christian too, but I don't want my president to tell me who I should worship and who I should not, and all the things in my life. I actually want you out of my business, but I do want you to have moral character so that when you're sitting behind that resolute desk in the Oval Office and you are the leader of the free world, that I can trust your judgment is not thinking about yourself, but it's actually thinking about the people who pay your salary, which is myself and everyone else on this. So morals do matter, not in the sense of sexuality and whatnot. I mean, he has been convicted and it was actually a hush money case to the 34 paperwork counts. It was actually a hush money case where he paid off a porn star because he was having an affair with a woman while he was married, and
the star witness, Michael Cohen, admitted to lying on the stand. I mean, to stealing from Trump on the stand, and in this case, this case really rested on him and his testimony. And then if we're talking about sexuality, we can bring up Willie Brown. Okay, we can bring up a lot of things that have been said about Kamala in terms of how she got jobs and how she had, he was the one that got her started with a lot of jobs and things. These are documented. These aren't just rumors. So
And Melanie, let me step in. Let me step in.
I don't get into, if you want to take this moral road, then if you're going to bring up Trump stuff, then let's bring up that. And
I don't want to
go into that, but I don't care about it. So and I don't think she's lazy. I don't see her as lazy.
Okay.
I don't, again, none of this puts money in anybody's pocket. None of this is policy. None of this is going to, change any of our lives. It just feels like gossip.
And for context, so this was, she had been accused of sleeping her way to the top, and this is referring to an alleged relationship that she had with, what was this, his former Speaker of California State Assembly, Willie Brown. So he was married at the time, alleged married at the time, and put her in a couple of, higher level positions.
He was a mayor. He was a mayor.
It was the mayor of
Yeah.
San
Mayor.
Francisco.
Just to
clarify,
it's fact.
Can I just to clarify, the reason why Kamala Harris was the district attorney of San Francisco, the reason why she was the attorney general of California, the reason why she was the U.S. Senate Senator of California, and the reason why she's the vice president is not because of Willie Brown. It's because she has worked hard and she has convinced Americans to vote for her, millions and millions of Americans. So respectfully to Judge Joe Brown, I discredit that because it is offensive to say that the reason why she is here is because of some rumor or whatever. It's because the voters voted her to be in those positions.
The reason why she became the vice president is because Joe Biden promised a black female vice president. That's the only reason. Because
A woman.
Yeah.
A woman president.
They brought a list.
Brian, fact
I can
check.
show it.
Brian,
It's on
fact
Roland
check.
Martin's, like they have it. It's a list. They said it was black women.
It was black women.
For the Supreme
And
Court.
a coalition went to him and said, you need to pick
Yes.
from this list of black women.
It was just to clear, because I was working on the campaign at that time, he promised in the debate that he would appoint the first black female justice to the U.S. Supreme Court, because there had not been one yet. But he would appoint a woman, he would select a woman to be his running mate. As the tensions in 2020 got more heated, several white women, including Amy Klobuchar, stepped away and said, I actually think it would be important that it be a woman of color. But his commitment was to a woman. It was a black woman for the U.S. Supreme Court.
So then he became
that
pressured.
story's
So
been
hold on.
told
So
very
then
differently.
he became pressured to put the black woman in after first saying just a woman, correct?
People can lobby for whoever they want, but it wasn't Joe.
Am I right or wrong?
People ask.
Am I right or
black
wrong? You don't
women-
answer the question. They're coming late and answering the questions. Come on now. Am I right or wrong?
No, I'm saying what Joe Biden said.
But am I right or wrong? I'm
People ask
correct.
for there to be there, but that's not what Joe Biden said.
I'm
Those are
correct.
two
He got
Those
pressured.
are two different statements.
He got
though.
pressured to hire a black female to be the vice president, and he did. That's what he did.
Yeah.
That's the
And-
reason why she's in there.
And then 81 million people voted for her
No, they didn't. When?
in 2020.
They voted for Joe Biden, not Kamala Harris.
Okay,
Joe
so
Biden.
I want everyone to remember the things that were just said. That he picked a black woman to be the vice president, right? And that he voted for Joe Biden and not Kamala Harris. So when we actually start to talk about issues, don't forget those points, because they'll be quick then to flip and say she should have done X, Y, and Z. But the people didn't vote for her; they voted for the president, right? Because she's the vice president and she can't do anything.
You still have duties
There we go.
as the vice president. You still have duties as a vice president because aren't you the president of the Senate as well? You got the tie-breaking vote. Let's not play that game. Come on now. You do have.
I just
duties in the government.
let's see what happens.
So
And
you are an important person as a vice president. Let's not discount that. And furthermore, this whole thing about morality and all of that, who cares? We're talking about groceries are way too high. Housing is way too high. Look, when I bought my house in 2020, you needed $65,000 to be able to afford it on paper. $65,000. Now, this same house, $125,000 you need. 120. Things are way too expensive. Nobody cares about the sexuality part. Okay, that's not even really important. And also, as far as Trump, he's not been locked up or anything for rape. There's no rape conviction or criminal conviction. So regardless, you're talking about getting
sound liable, but
it's not a criminal consent. Come on. Like
So
you know,
check
it's not a criminal case.
Check this out here. We gonna close out on this one here because we actually got another very important topic we want to get to. I haven't really seen D1 speak in a while, so
yeah. What I just want to get, because D1, I see the reactions that you have, and I think you may be one of the few on the panel who think morality is extremely important for the presidential candidate. So did you have something a bit different about regarding morality and how to cast your vote?
My brother, I'm a man of God first and foremost. So for me, I'm looking at anyone that we have the opportunity. I'm a Christian. I'm looking at anytime we have the opportunity to vote, it's like, okay, we do that. Now, this world stresses stuff like financial prosperity without moral integrity. That's when you get people like Diddy. You feel me? That's when you get these instances to where, well, this person ran the bag up. This person knew how to make money, knew how to get me money in my pocket, but we don't worry about character and moral integrity, right? And that is not the way that I'm wired to think as a man of God. And it's actually very disappointing for me to hear that we have Americans who will literally say character and moral integrity do not matter when we are talking about electing the president of the United States. It's just like, we're not the same. You hear me? That's it. And I really think that a lot of people, when they allow common sense to re-enter the conversation in their own mind, because I'm really wanting to speak to undecided voters. I have no interest in, I love everybody on this panel, even if we're voting for different people. Don't even know y'all personally, love y'all to pieces, you heard me? This is for undecided voters. For me, as an undecided voter, there's a lot of Christians who feel a lot of anxiety right now, and they're praying and they're stressing because they're literally like, what do I do? There's people that's not Christians that are just like, there's so much fear and hate and vitriol being tossed around. What do I do this election? My thing is allow common sense to enter the chat and the equation. And all of these things matter. Policy matters, character matters as well. When you instantly hear that the first topic that was brought up, which is morality and character, when you hear that people who tend to support Trump are saying, that doesn't matter, that speaks volumes.
But
So
why does it matter?
that's
Though?
actually-
Because at the end of the day, because the morality is not going to put money in your pocket. It's not going to put fruit in your refrigerator.
Brother,
Look,
I'm gonna listen, brother, listen.
If I'm getting evicted today, if I'm being evicted today, then why does the president's morality matter?
Listen, brother, listen. First of all, you're not being evicted. So you talking.
It was a question. If
Right,
if I'm a person that's struggling, why does the character of the president?
Brother, I don't know nobody who was wealthy when Trump was president, when Donald was president. I don't know nobody that was wealthy then that all of a sudden they're like, man, I'm hurting now. You hear me? I'm richer than
America
I've ever been.
disagrees with you,
Hold
and
on.
every
Argument
single
comes-
poll
listen,
is
listen.
higher. With
Listen,
everyone says
listen.
that they live better under. This is on all mainstream
Healthy.
media,
Listen,
even though they
listen.
lie about
Y'all
everything.
saying
They
regular
even
people.
said that he
I'm
is the
speaking-
one that
listen.
they lived better under him. The
Listen.
economy was better
I'm
under him.
speaking for
So that
myself.
may be your anecdotal.
That's you.
your
That's yourself.
anecdotal
That's your point of view.
experience,
So
but
hold
that is
on.
not the
Yeah,
experience of
let's-
the American people.
let's actually let's close it. Let's close it out right here. We gonna get
another one.
we gonna get another one going. We got
Right,
another
right.
question because I think we see that at this point. I think that's the most important thing is you see that different people are weighing different values when they're making a voting decision.
Agree.
Right? Some people are really looking at morality. Some people's like, no, I want somebody to just go in and get the job done. And even the chat is reflecting this. In fact, this next part of the conversation is equally just as important.
Well, a couple things. So first, I'm gonna do, guys. We got 2,600 people in the chat right now, so that just proves that this conversation is very important to us. And I'm gonna go ahead and close out this poll. So I dropped the poll earlier, guys. Can a conviction or criminal record be forgiven, or should voters take a stance against criminals? We got forgive, can't vote for criminals, and undecided, guys. 57% of the people, this is 2,600 people in the chat, say forgive. We got another 19% at can't vote for criminals, and another 25% that's actually undecided. So D1, I think you might be speaking to those people. So I'm gonna close out that poll real quick.
There you
now
have
we
it.
had a couple super chats come in. Shout out to Azrael, first of his name. He says, if Kamala has to talk to Xi Jinping or Putin, she's going to start giggling and twerking out of nervousness. She shouldn't even
Kamala,
pass the
right?
Kamala. That's apologies. She couldn't even pass the 2020 primary because she was unlikable. She was the border czar and failed. So this is a big conversation because this is how men are talking on the internet about Kamala. So this is very important that we talk about this. And then what's that other super chat? We got another one. Talks with P Mo. Any black man that's voting for Trump has mommy issues and misdirected anger. We could not have had any better super chats. This is literally the entire conversation.
Right.
We talk about men versus women. So let's go ahead and get into that conversation, Tyshawn.
Absolutely. In fact, we actually brought really it was a tweet that came up that's getting a lot of popularity because Waka Flocka Flame actually came out and endorsed Donald Trump. Let's actually pull that up so everybody can see it, because this discourse is really where we are. You can see it says Trump for president, let's go, by Waka Flocka Flame right under it. Why do you want him to be president? Are you intimidated by a woman president? Right? And a lot of the ladies are having this same sentiment, saying that men are intimidated by having a woman as a president. In fact, we can also say that Obama backed this statement in a recent statement that he made. Delano, can we actually go ahead and play that clip with Obama? Let's go ahead and get it played. It's muted here. Let's go ahead and get the sound for it.
And you got to update the color of them squares because they could be mad about that one.
Because
so can we start that over,
part
Lana?
of it, and you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly now, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president.
Wow.
Okay. So
that's the former president accusing men of being
this
sexist.
so
I
let's
was fired red hot when I saw that, because it's like, look, at the end of the day, I'm a grown man. If you want me to vote for someone, give me some good policy. Give me a good reason. Don't do no finger wagging. Oh, y'all brothers got to come out, all this, that, and the third. Don't do that. I don't like that at all. Even if I was kind of on the fence, like, I don't know, maybe Kamala, maybe not. That right there would push me all the way to the right. That'll radicalize me right there. Give me some policy. Don't just wag your finger. I hated that so much. And it wasn't just him. It was Kirk Franklin, the philandering, fornicating pastor. Not Kirk, pardon, not him. It was
Jamal Bryant.
Jamal Bryant, not Kirk. Shout out to Kirk.
Oh man, here we had this. Kirk caught a stray. Don't let Kirk catch a stray in here, man. Let me ask a quick question. I actually want to go ahead. I want to get the question because we can see it here. This is a really good place to start because, I mean, do men really have an issue with seeing a woman as president? Is this a real issue?
Now, I've done, before I found my way into politics, I did relationship stuff. And so I studied the gender gap, and I talked about it for several years that you saw in the dating market that is absolutely insane. And it has started to, you can now see it with the election. People are now mainstream talking about the gender gap. But those of us who have been, in the trenches have seen this for a while. All across every Western country right now, you will see men have become more conservative and women have become more liberal. You see this the most pronounced in South Korea. This isn't an American thing, this is globally. And it comes to values. There's a lot that I can go into when it comes to, how men are having to deal with women, how society wants to feminize men. Masculinity is seen as misogyny now. And it's this, especially I would say in the Black community, there's this, Black women are goddess, queen, mother earth, and, Black men ain't ish. And there's a lot of dogging down of Black men and what they're not doing, and they're not good enough. And it's, women, the easy out, and this is what they always do when men speak up, for themselves or what they think or what they feel. Well, it's automatically labeled as misogyny, or women, it's like this hyper focus to find some nitpick that it must be that. And men are tired of it. Men want to be able to speak and say what they want. They want to be leaders in their household and communities. But it's this talking down to that you see coming from women and men like Obama. Obama has been speaking down to the Black community and Black men forever. It is just now people are noticing it. Tavis Smiley was the first person to call him out on this. And this is actually part of why Tavis Smiley was canceled. Same thing with Jesse Jackson. Everyone heard the clip where Jesse Jackson said he wanted to cut off Obama's, junk, but they did not hear the part that happened before this. This happens in mainstream media. They never play the full thing. Right before that, he said, I am tired of him speaking down to Black people. When he talks like that, it makes me want to cut his junk off. So we've even had black leaders, black men that have been speaking about this for a while. It's just now you are seeing his condescending tone because people are not mesmerized, by or just voting blue no matter who anymore.
I'll jump in. I think the question that I have is, why haven't we had a female woman president? I mean, we've had enough. Any first world country at this point, many of them have elected a woman to be their leader. Many of them fared very well and had some of the best projections, and still are having some of the projections with female leaders during the global pandemic and coming out of it in its recovery. I just always want to know, why not? Like, not even just a Democratic woman president, why not even a Republican? And I don't ever like to speak in absolutes, but I would be silly, and I would think that no one on this panel doesn't think any type of misogyny exists. It doesn't mean everybody is misogynistic, but even the question was about her twerking. Like,
Right.
I mean, come on. Like, I'm not making the words up. They're being said themselves. So, yeah, we all know she has a laugh. It was made fun of on Saturday Night Live. Why not just stop the question there? Why add a twerking in, which has a connotation that is disrespectful to women? So, I mean, I don't know if every man voting, I would probably guess that most men voting for Donald Trump are not doing it just because she is a woman. I like to talk about policy and the politics of it, but we can't act like it doesn't exist, because if that was the case, we would have had a female president by now.
Doesn't make any sense, because when has there actually been a good female presidential candidate to come forward ever in this country? Hillary Clinton, was that a good person? I mean, I saw the campaign in 2016. I covered the campaign.
Nikki Haley.
Nikki Haley's a good, no, kind of a neocon. We don't really like her that much. So, like, there's not been a good female candidate to come forward. I'm not saying there can't be. To be totally honest, Michelle Obama would have been a great candidate, but I don't think she wants to do it. She's doing movies. No,
she doesn't.
And whatnot. Yeah, she's chilling. She over at Netflix doing her thing.
That's not her calling.
Yeah, exactly.
Ministry.
So they don't have anybody. That's the point. Kamala, you see how bad she is. And it's not even about her being a leftist or whatnot, just as a politician. Look, I respect the Obamas. Barack and Michelle, they are great politicians. Amazing. Policies, not my thing. Politically, fantastic. Kamala has none of it. So if you want a female president, try putting somebody forward better than Hillary Clinton, who couldn't even get through the campaign without having to get Weekend at Bernie through the whole thing. And Kamala can't put two words together. They had that one first interview on CNN. He was in Atlanta in front of the studios for 6 hours, and she spoke for 18 minutes in the actual interview. Embarrassing. Maybe that's why.
I mean, we're talking about it in the history of this country. We can cut out some of the years because women didn't even have the right to vote. So
when has there ever been a good female candidate to come forward?
But then they're like, why are we voting based on gender? I don't need you to look like me. I don't need you to have this ovaries in order for you to run this country. I'm not looking for identity in my president. I'm looking for who is the most qualified to run the country. Who do I think has the best policies? I don't care what you are. It makes no difference. And see, and this is the thing that I think Democrats don't understand. People, if a candidate is good, if the candidate is good and they happen to be a woman, then that's great. That's fine. Nobody, it is what it is. Will there be some people who are misogynistic? Yes, but there's a lot of women who are misandrous, and we don't talk enough about the feminist misandrists that are running rampant. Especially go on TikTok and you will see it. So it's I get it, but like, why do I need representation? Like
just because we're 52% of the population.
But what is that going to do other than there's symbolism in it? And I think Black people for a long time, symbolism and tokenism is what the Democrat Party has given us. And this is why you see a tearing away, especially in higher numbers. Black women are doing it too, but you see a tearing away of Black men because symbolism is not enough. We had Barack Obama already, and a lot of people don't feel like he didn't really do anything for Black people. people. He did more for the LGBT causes than he did for black people. And so, you know, we've had our symbolism, we've had our tokenism. We want who we feel is the most qualified and who has the policies that are going to set this country in the right order. And if it's a woman, it's a woman. If it's not, so be it.
So
D1, I want to know this too, just to get him in there. D1, have you also noticed that the black men, especially that you might know or you hear of in voting, are also favoring Trump in this decision?
Or if women are solely voting on for Kamala because she's a woman.
Yeah.
So let's get it once again. Let's just inject common sense into the equation. Most black people are gonna vote for Kamala Harris. There are people who are voting for Donald Trump because he's white. You know, like, let's just acknowledge that it goes that way as well. There are, like, most black men are going to vote for Kamala Harris, but some black men who I've spoken to, because I've had these conversations without cameras, so there was no pressure for anybody to be performative. And some black men are taking out all of the issues that they have with their mamas, with their baby mamas, you heard me, with their exes, on Kamala Harris. And literally they're acting as if she's trying to get elected to be their wife instead of to be their president.
What? No, for real.
I've
never heard that before.
Hold on, wait. Let's let him. I want to let D1 finish the point here. D1, go ahead and carry through.
Yeah, like this isn't a debate. I'm telling y'all real conversations I've been in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, in Durham, North Carolina. These are forums, these are panels that I've been on. Like I said, they weren't televised. So, well, I'm a rapper. For most people watching this who know that I'm a hip hop artist, a college professor, like, I'm with students, I'm with young black men. These are my peers in what I do professionally. I'm telling y'all that there's a different standard to where a lot of people look at Kamala Harris as somebody who, well, we ain't get this as black men yet. We ain't get that as black men. One thing I've had to tell black men, and for anybody in the chat, we have to acknowledge this. We don't have a unified agenda as black men that we have ever said, as all black men in this country, here's what we want together collectively. I think it's kind of a myth to even think that that should exist because we're not monolithic as black men. But it's easy as a buzzword to be like, well, as black men, here's what we haven't gotten. But we've never presented something in a unified manner that we all want. We want to be respected, we want to be protected, and we want to have the opportunity to thrive in this country. And that's something that should be basic for everyone. With that being said, time and time again, when you look at Donald Trump, it's a known fact that this man don't respect us. This man wants to exploit us as black people, period. Now, when it's convenient for him, oh yeah, bring Blackie over here, bring Blackie here, get this rapper out of jail, because I know that's gonna get certain impressionable minds to say, oh, he freed this person, so that means he a real one or whatever. Like, our logic is so twisted, and y'all get excited about, I saw, what's homie name? Anthony Logan. Brother, I saw you getting excited, like, yeah, Waka Flocka endorsed him. Brother, you don't know nothing about Waka Flocka. You can't name one Waka Flocka song, but you're excited. Hold on. That being said, listen, that being said,
yeah, there you go.
That's exactly what it is.
Shout out, Doo-Wop.
We just want to get,
it's free.
Is this
People
like
wanna
our
get
black
excited.
his black card?
It's your black test. Hey, you're a real black person. You're a white boy. Same old dumb stuff. Go ahead.
I can't. No, I'm saying you get excited about a cosign from somebody who you don't even know on any level, but you're getting excited and you're pumping your fist. This is what I'm saying. Listen.
It don't matter if I don't know him. I support what he supports. We're on the same page. You're on the same page. That's why I'm pumping my fist.
Hold on, wait, guys.
Slow down.
Kamala had a Met the Stallion concert in Atlanta. What are we talking about?
Let's bring up all the celebrities then that we don't know.
Relax. Listen, that being said, keep in mind that some of the same black people who are getting excited about a certain rapper maybe co-signing Trump, these are the same black people who get excited about making and listening to music that is glorifying us, killing us selling dope to our own people, us disrespecting women constantly in the music. So I don't look at it like, oh yeah, black people are just riding for Trump, because as black people, we're not to be all put in one bucket. You know what I mean? Everybody, just because they say just because they're your skin folk don't mean that they're your kinfolk. So It's a serious matter to address.
What are you saying, bro? What are you talking
Did you see
about?
Cardi B? Did you see Cardi B give her speech? If we want to go there about music and glorifying, did you see Cardi B? Did you see the rappers that Glorilla, Flo Milli, Megan Thee Stallion twerking on stage? On and on because
and let's get Ashley in on this as well.
Arguing against yourself.
Here's the difference. I'm not sitting here excited saying that's why we should vote for Kamala is because
none of us are either. None of us are there. I don't know one person.
He got my same values, so I'm like, hey, that's good. Shout out to him for giving the same value.
Hold tight real quick. I gotta go ahead and get my sister Ashley in here. Ashley, what you got to say here?
Well, the conversation has turned a little bit less about her being a woman and more about what are we doing for Black people. I think, and Kamala Harris has said over and over that she wants to earn Black men's votes. So I want to tell you a little bit about what she wants to actually do for Black men. I will tell you, I think she is the first presidential candidate in the history of America to release an agenda just for Black men. Talking about
that agenda was fake, and that agenda is for everybody.
They say, and other Americans.
Came out and said it's for
hold on.
everybody.
Okay, hold on. Let her finish.
Hey, ABL, let's let her finish that thought first, and I want to let you guys come back in here. Ashley, go ahead. She was the first. You said she was the first president that released an agenda for Black men.
For Black men, yes. Because she doesn't take the vote for granted. Then when people was like, everybody's like, oh, I want policy. So in there is access to capital, because we know Black people don't have, like, we get 1% of venture capital, if that, and Black women get a 0.2% of venture capital access to money. It's talking about expanding government contracts for Black people. It's talking about creating pathways for Black men to become teachers and get into the classroom. Canceling student loan debt is for everybody, but hey, Black people got student loan debts, and for Pell Grants, a lot of HBCUs. We know Joe Biden has given more money to HBCUs than Donald Trump did, even though he likes to say he did. Joe Biden gave almost 7 times as much money to Black folks. So I will say, in this country,
you forgot some of the agenda. The weed.
Yes, actually, I wasn't actually finished. I wasn't
smoke
finished.
weed and get crypto coins.
I wasn't finished. Actually, she did talk about legalizing weed, which is why it's really important, because if you actually go to the Pence Vance website and you look at what's on there in terms of criminal justice reform, they want to bring back stop and frisk. They want to federalize people who have conversations that might be involved with drug community. They want to bring
What does that mean? Hold on. What does that mean? Conversations, like, what does that mean?
Yeah, like if you have people that are affiliated in the drug system in your community and you're there, because it's a federalized crime, you could be part of that RICO charge.
They're doing what? You're not giving me the full story.
That is the full story. That's the problem, is that
they're doing what?
Not breaking the law, but he would change. He wants to change the statute so that if you're even in proximity to someone selling drugs, that you could be a part of that RICO case.
That ain't nothing new. Everybody, that's regular. Like, okay, if somebody got a trap house and you there, you can get locked up too. Everybody know that. I don't want that.
And you okay with that?
That's nothing new. That's been going on. That's not Trump.
And you're okay.
I mean,
it's on his website.
ABL, are you okay with that, ABL?
I mean, look, if you're in a trap house, you know where you at, so you shouldn't be there.
It doesn't even have to be the trap house. It could be you're at your friend's house and the person who sells drugs, who's from the trap house, comes. This is what we're talking about.
Well, I don't hang around people that sell drugs. I don't hang around crack sellers. I don't hang around guys that sell fentanyl. I'm sorry. So
everything that they put out for Black people is just, all of us are just, we're all doing drugs, we're all criminals, we're all that. They don't speak to the middle class or the upwardly mobile Black person.
Everything I just said was about the middle class.
If you sell crack for a living, you get.
Hold tight, ABL.
That agenda was not for Black men, so that is a lie. That is an outright lie that agenda was put together for Black men. Not in the agenda itself, it says it's for others. The campaign came out and said it's for everybody. So how is that a specific agenda for Black men?
Well, if you know anything about the way the federal government works and the way federal statutes, you actually can't make things, it will be challenged in the court. You know how people don't want DEI, all the removal of, like, making sure everything is race neutral, making sure affirmative action doesn't exist. So you can't actually apply laws a lot of times in the federal government that are specific to certain constituencies.
They did it for Asian Americans. They've
they
done
all-
it for Native
but
Americans.
but
They've
let
done
me
it for
tell you,
Jewish
no,
Americans, but they
no,
don't do
the
it
Asian
for Black
American,
people.
the Asian American statute actually falls under the larger federal hate crime statute. So it just provided a very distinct protection to Asian
So when
Americans.
you
Then why
say,
But
lie
it
and
was a
say it's
hate
for
crime.
Black
there's a
men?
bill,
Why lie and say it's for Black
it's a lie.
men?
It's a lie.
It's
Exactly.
not a lie, because the
It's
application.
for Black men, but it's not just for Black men.
Can I finish?
That's what you're saying.
No, I didn't say that. That's what you said. What I am saying is that the application of it disproportionately will benefit Black men. And it was written in such a way, it was written actually by Black men. I know the men who wrote it. So that it would actually, when you look at the things like sickle cell and prostate exams and all of those things, those are issues that disproportionately affect Black men. So they talked about the things that Black men are disproportionately affected by, and they presented policy proposals. I'll just say, I'd love to see Donald Trump's blackmail plan.
Well, we
And
know
then maybe
Congress is to lock up Black men in mass incarceration in California. It's to
that's
lock up
disinformation.
parents for truancy. And every
That's
time she bring it up,
disinformation.
she never clarifies her record. She'll say it's not true. People say it's not true. But
I can
then
clarify
she
it.
doesn't give the specific numbers. Like, I just don't get the Kamala.
Now,
suddenly-
Melody, actually, let's stop. Let's actually go into that, because just personally, I know that is something that a lot of Black
Yes.
men are concerned about, because the whole aspect of mass incarceration, when you think about the like the state of our community, the Black community, actually, for many of us, we probably consider it a matriarch, because so many women have had to lead the community, because a lot of us credit that to mass incarceration and the prosecutors and all the policies and laws that were passed, which Kamala's thrown into that. Is it fair to attach mass incarceration and Black men getting locked up for petty crimes to Kamala?
When you look at the actual numbers, the people who were arrested when she was the district attorney are 1,500 for drug use. When you look at how many were Black men, it's 45. So it is below the national average for incarceration for Black men. But what's most importantly is that when you look at back when she was, remember, my career is in criminal justice reform. So there used to be a thing where you lock people up and you throw away the key. Well, what Kamala Harris did as one of the first district attorneys in the country, which other people started to jump on, is she started doing anti-recidivism and pro reentry programs, so that when you did serve your time and you came back into the community, you could get a job. You didn't have to worry about the box preventing you from not being hired because you had a former felony conviction. You could find housing. You could have visits with your family. So that is a myth that has been out there, and unfortunately, to the Melody's point about TikTok, it's like, just because you got a microphone in front of your mouth don't mean you telling the truth. So we do need to do our research. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to come on. To D1's point, there are a lot of undecided voters, and I just want you to go in, knowing the facts and not hearing he said, she said. Whatever you decide to do, I hope you vote, because that's what our democracy lives and breathes on. And I hope we accept the results of the election. But the fact that people are saying that Kamala Harris attacked and tried to over incarcerate Black men is actually false. It is just not.
Now,
true.
the other point was about the truancy thing that she did. So what was that all about?
So the truancy was, there was this high rate of children. I've done a lot of things. I got a lot of Black jobs out here. I'm a former school teacher in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. And when you teach, you know that you are supposed to keep daily attendance to make sure students were coming to school. What Kamala Harris found was that there was high truancy rates, that it was just fine in the city. It was just acceptable. People just accepted the fact that Black students weren't going to class and just saying, like, as a city, whatever, they don't care about the Black kids. So Kamala Harris put a program together where she got strict with Black parents, or parents in general, if they had an ongoing, I think it was 30 days where they were missing school. If you miss school for 30 days, the likelihood that you will graduate from that grade, you will get set back. You won't be able to read at reading level, pass and go to college if you want to. If you don't have a third grade reading level by the time you are in third grade, you're going to already fall behind your peers. So that was a case to actually get Black kids in school to work with parents Now, I know there's like one case out there that this woman did the commercial where she said she was arrested, but that also has been debunked.
You're kind of you're speeding past the actual point. I want to know what was the plan. Like what did Kamala want to do to enforce the truancy situation? We got to get to that, to the core of it.
There were many steps, and the step that everybody talks about was that she arrested parents, and that's just not the case.
So basically,
she worked with parents.
So basically, the threat was
I said there was
parents. The threat was the parents are going to get locked up for their kids being truant. Now, I've never in my life heard about somebody getting locked up for truancy, and it wasn't. It's the parents getting locked up because the kids are truant. And furthermore, if the kids are not going to school for that long, they're not learning anything at all anyway. They need to be going to a trade school or something like that. I would advocate for more of those.
They're in the third grade.
It don't matter.
Special about this, and they featured parents who this happened to under Kamala Harris. I was shocked.
Black parents.
Shocked about this.
Black parents got locked up because of Kamala Harris.
Parents as well that this happened to.
I think it's crazy that the fact that we want Black kids to actually go to school and get an education is controversial right now. But
so we're gonna lock Black parents up, so that's fine. That's fine. The parents getting locked up, the Black parents getting locked up is fine.
So
but
guys,
that wasn't what happened.
So nobody got locked up.
I did say one did. Yeah.
So hold on, wait. And D1, you've been quiet for a while. I'm gonna let you close this one out because I want to go ahead and get over to our last round before we let actually the callers come in and give us their perspective on this.
3,500 people in the chat, guys. I dropped a poll. Do men have an issue with a woman president? We got absolutely and no. This is false. Go ahead, D1.
All right, for sure. When Donald Trump got cooked by Kamala Harris in that debate that they had, you saw that the dude that normally likes to bully people, he was on the ropes, and he didn't want to do another debate after that. And he started with this delusional notion that he won the debate and he's not doing any more debates after this because he didn't want that smoke. And with that being said, it's because she came to him. Everyone talks about what are Kamala's policies. Well, when Trump is put on the spot about what are his policies, where do you stand when it comes to this issue or that issue, he starts lying through his teeth. He starts just flip-flopping from things he said previously, not being coherent, not making sense. And all of his supporters, for some reason, don't have an issue with that. They ignore the lies. They ignore
What lies? Be specific.
What lies? Bro, when people ask Trump about abortion, for example, Trump, it depends on what day of the week it is. Some days he's, oh yeah, I'm for abortion after 15 weeks. Then it's like, well, no, after 6 weeks. Then it's, no, well, we're not going to put a federal ban on abortion. Then it's, okay, well, it's make your mind up. The election.
Obama promised.
So in fact, hold on, wait 1 second.
To codify Roe v. Wade, and he never did it.
So check this out.
Ran on that like Kamala did.
Right on time. Right on time, Melanie.
We can go there.
Well, we're gonna
right on time. Right on time.
You're deflecting, Melanie King.
How am I deflecting? I literally
I'm talking about
Obama
Trump flip-flopping on that issue. And you're talking about what Kamala did.
Actively campaigning for Roe v. Wade, and he said, he promised, he ran on this, that he would codify Roe v. Wade. And
that's last in that.
Hold on, wait.
He said it was the first thing he
Guys.
did he do it?
Hold on, wait. I really
talk about this.
I really want y'all to slow it down right here because we actually y'all taking us into our final topic because that is what we about to actually go ahead.
And Ashley, how you looking on time, Ashley?
I got 7 minutes.
Oh no! All right, Ashley. Well, we're gonna start here with you.
See, they're not gonna love you like we love you, Ashley.
Okay, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Ashley literally
I'll give you 13.
Excellent. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this poll real quick. Do men have an issue with a women president? We got absolutely and no, this is false. So the people have spoken. We got over 1,500 votes, 3,500 people in the chat. No, this is false, and that's at 60%. I'm gonna go ahead and run through quite a few of these super chats. We got purpose over potential. That's what they always do. Tell you what they gonna do and do nothing. Just like Obama, they are puppets. Trump 2024, at least he does what he says he gonna do. We got Kay Ann. Shout out to Kay Ann, who's been a member and moderator for 16 months. That's like record breaking. Don't let anyone make you feel bad for your vote. There's pros and cons to each side, and a man cannot say which is more godly, love and miss you. Shout out to Sharika Nicholson. First of all, how does a pastor align themselves with a person who condones abortion and homosexuality? As a Christian, I'm not going for Kamala, and her policies suck. And the last one I'm gonna read until we get to the rest. MTS 1686 says you will never be able to legislate morality.
And there we have it. Taking it into round 3, we probably only got 12 minutes from my sister, so I'm going to get us into this conversation so we can get your perspective. And family, send your super chats in. All over 20 we'll read, and we'll bring you guys up for your perspective at the end of this conversation. We just had the conversation of abortion with the prophetess. Tiffany Montgomery came on here with Bev Tucker this past Wednesday. Very, very polarizing episode. They pissed a lot of people off and they made a lot of people happy. That's kind of happen when you talk. What happens when you talk politics? They made a statement about abortion that I think is very important for us to hear as we go into this. Delano, take us over into that statement.
In the Bible, there is a God named Moloch, lowercase g. Moloch is spoken about in the Old Testament, Old Covenant, and also in the New Testament, New Covenant. He's talked about in both covenants. Moloch was the god in the Bible that was assigned to kill your children as a sacrifice. Maybe you wanted more money, maybe you wanted love, maybe you wanted fame or fortune. You sacrificed this child. Well, you may say, well, Tiffany, I'm not doing it for this. Well, if you said, I can't afford to have this baby, and you had an abortion, you sacrificed it for the money. If you say my career's really taken off and I can't really use a baby, you have now sacrificed your child for fame, influence, and to be well known. You did the same thing that they did in the Bible. Nothing is different. With that being said, there was always a consequence to the action.
All right, let's pause it right there. This is important. Okay, this is very important because what essentially Tiffany is saying, that most abortions are happening because people are selfishly just having casual sex, and they're just having using abortions as birth control. Whereas I'm hearing a lot of arguments where people say, no. What if I'm raped? I don't want to have the baby of someone who rapes me. No. What if it's between me and the life of my child? You can't take abortions away.
Also, it's my body, my choice.
It's my body, it's my choice. I actually pulled some studies just to get some context on this confirmation from this conversation. A 2004 study from Gudemacher, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Institute found that approximately 4% of women cited health concerns, either their own or the fetuses, as the primary reason for seeking an abortion. So it's about 4%. Wasn't a huge amount. And the CDC reported that in 2019, 0.2% of women obtaining an abortion cited rape as the primary reason. And 0.3 cited incest. So it's interesting. A lot of these issues that's brought up is no really data to support that that's happening in large numbers. But what I want to talk about is just our abortions. Is it a healthcare issue with our women, or is it just a form of birth control now in our society? And I'll start here with you, Ashley, since I know you have limited time.
Well, we started this conversation saying that morals weren't going to be a determining factor, but often when we then enter the conversation of abortion, it's the first thing that people lead with. So I like to be consistent. I am a proponent for pro-choice, that it is a woman's right to choose, and that no person should have any say over any person's body, not a man's body and not a woman's body. And that's, it is a form of access to care. And we have seen since Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2020, that the amount of miscarriages that have led to women not being able to have children in the future because of the 1 in 30 women live in a state with an abortion ban. It is a form of healthcare. It is a form of that it needs to be accessible to people. So I am fundamentally in support of a woman's rights to choose, and you make your personal choice what is right for you. We also know the story of Amber Thurman, that she was beginning to have a miscarriage, and Amber, a Black woman from Georgia, is no longer with us because she had to travel across state lines. She couldn't get access to care. It's also putting people, physicians, in this predicament when their patients come in to seek health care, to see what's happening to them. They are in a state like Texas at risk of facing criminal prosecution for potentially offering care. So a lot of the consequences that people have warned about would happen if Roe has been overturned, we are seeing them come to life. Melanie is right. Obama said that he was going to codify Roe. We understand you need to have a 60 vote threshold. And it is very hard to codify Roe when that was still the law of the land. Many people are disappointed that he didn't do that. But the case of the matter is that Donald Trump overturned Roe. And to D1's point, is he is talking out of two sides of his mouth on this issue. He knows that it is extremely polarizing for women white women historically have voted more Republican leaning. But this election, we are seeing this massive gender gap, because to have a constitutional right taken away from you is gutting. And so we'll see tomorrow, but we do believe that a lot of women are leaning towards Harris, independent Republican women, because of the decision of Roe v. Wade being overturned. And that is also why we know in 2020, when so many Republicans predicted a red wave would come, it didn't happen because people were so frustrated. So I think it should be your own personal decision with you, your partner, and your doctor. And no one on this call should really have any say of what I do in my personal life.
Wow.
There you have it.
Yeah, I just dropped a poll, guys, because I'm very curious what you guys think. Should abortion access be banned? Yes, no, undecided.
Anybody got anything to follow up here? I know this is a touchy subject here, and this is the quietest it's been this whole time. What we got?
Yeah, I want to jump in. So the thing about abortion, like the question you just put up, Ryan, I mean, I don't think it should be banned, but I don't think it should be just you can have abortion up until the point of birth. I'm from Virginia originally. When I left, Ralph Northam just became the governor in 2018. And he was on tape talking about, well, after the baby's born, we're going to put the fetus aside and see what we're going to do with it. They're talking about abortion up until the point of birth, up until 9 months. I agree with Trump when I say the 3 exceptions: rape, life of the mother, incest. I believe in that. There should also be like maybe a 10-week limit, maybe 10 to 15 week. I'm not an extremist person. Getting rid of Roe v. Wade was good because it was no longer a federal government type thing. It's an individual state. So if you're living in California and you want to have an abortion up until 9 months and y'all want to vote for it, go ahead. You have even more access to the so-called healthcare that you like. And then there's no more back and forth about, okay, the federal government says this. Nope. Your state, you decide, you have better control over abortion. Furthermore, what is the baby inside of you? Is it a baby or not? We can talk about my body, my choice. Well, the baby is a human being as well. Baby has a body. Furthermore, any Christian advocating for abortion just willy-nilly, and it's not a healthcare issue. They cited the stats earlier. What, 1%, less than 1% for the 3 exceptions? It's usually elective. I can't afford it. I don't want to have it. I already got too many. It's like that. If you're a Christian, which I'm not, but if you are and you support that, I don't see how it makes any sense. I just don't get it. And part of the reason, you know what, D1, part of the reason why I'm not Christian is because of stuff like that, the hypocritical nature of church right now. But I don't want to go too deep into that, so I digress.
Can I just say one thing before I have to jump? And I'm sorry I can't stay on the full time. I just want to point out the conversation about the Virginia governor. Those circumstances are what we call palliative care. It's when the baby has a condition. There are instances where the woman knows that the baby is not going to survive out of utero, and so they do palliative care, or they have to abort the fetus at a later stage. Those are the most extreme, heartbreaking cases. I did hear that clip. It was like what he said and what is actually what happens were inconsistent. It was like a bad political flub, but no one is advocating for a baby to be a day before they are birthed and for an abortion. It is literally for the care of the mother, or honestly, for the care of the baby who will not survive out of utero, and they don't want the individual to suffer. So I do think like sometimes it's important. I know this is a heated topic, but it is also about respecting the science that exists as well in these instances. So.
Well, I mean, I agree with you as far as the 3 instances: rape, life of the mother, incest. I agree with that. But at the same time, we got some really extreme people that say up until the point of birth. Not everyone, but that is a thing. And that's the problem, is people that are just regular, normal people who don't believe in the crazy extremes and the extremists. You know what? Okay, let your state decide. If you're living in California and you want to be an extremist and the majority of your neighbors want the same thing, then go ahead and have it. Problem solved.
Ashley, what I want to do is, I know you got to get out of here, so I want to first off thank you for coming on here and having this conversation with us.
Glad we got you today.
And then I want to just roll out the red carpet to let you know you're always welcome back, because these are important conversations. Obviously, we're not going to be able to, in an hour and 15 minutes, change the world. But there probably was a couple people listening that you were able to give a bit of understanding to, which is the purpose of this conversation. So thank you very much. And you're always welcome to come back to Harley Initiate, okay?
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Absolutely.
All right.
What I want to do now, my sister Melanie here, I want to make sure I get Melanie's perspective on this conversation
And
here,
then I
especially
wanna,
as a woman.
Correct. Then I want to address what ABL has to say to D1 regarding the morality aspect of being a Christian.
That's a very important conversation. Melanie, go ahead.
Melanie, yeah.
So she brought up Amber Thurman. Amber Thurman didn't die because she couldn't get an abortion. She actually died from the side effects of taking the abortion pill. And she did not get the correct hospital care when she did not expel her fetus completely. Okay, and so then they had to do a DNC, but then she contracted sepsis, and that is how she died. She did not die because she had a life-threatening illness or something was wrong with the child. She wanted an abortion. The abortion pill, the side effects of it, and how the FDA have loosened the I guess the guidelines, the restrictions on this abortion medicine, and that's how she died. Actually, if you go into all the cases that they bring up, almost all of them, there's some complication from the abortion, not the actual pregnancy that is causing that. There are some cases like that, but the ones that you talk about all the time, they automatically say that, and it's just not true. So I think a lot of people just take the top headline and say, oh, she couldn't get an abortion, so that's why she died. No, she died because of her abortion.
That's a very dangerous procedure. An abortion, whether it be the pill or the traditional way, where they just yank the fetus out. If you guys know how an abortion works, they literally take the fetus out like a pair of pliers and just rip it out. Now, of course, this is going to damage the woman's body, regardless, whether it's the pill or the traditional abortion. So it's a very dangerous thing to do to yourself.
Melanie, as a woman, are you open to, do you think, and back to the question that we had up here, do you feel like abortion should be banned? Or do you feel like, there should be some level or option to a woman being able to have an abortion?
Well, this is really personal for me because my mother was raped at 14, and that's how I have my oldest sister. She was raped by knife point, and I'm sorry, I don't know if I can bring that word. I don't know. I don't want it to hurt your street.
Go ahead.
Hopefully,
this your testimony.
So I'm actually a person who grew up like knowing this story, what happened. My mother went on to achieve and everything like that, and she could not get one at the time. She actually tried to do it herself. She was kicked out of her home, and then she was taken in by nuns into a home. That's what they would find, a home for confined, a home of confinement. Nuns would take in young girls who were kicked out because it didn't matter if you were violated or not. The fact that you were pregnant, you were gone. And so I have a complicated history with that. For me, I do believe it needs to go to the states. I do believe there need to be exceptions. This is my issue, though. Most are using it as birth control. They don't really want to use the birth control. I would say they see it as the easy out. Like, it doesn't matter. I can just, if something happened, I can easily get birth control and it won't be a problem. And you see this. I even did a video a while back where actually probably 2 years ago, where this rapper, she was outside of Planned Parenthood with her friends, half naked, twerking, talking about, this ninja nutting me, I'm going to kill this, thing. And she actually spells it abortion, like celebrating abortion. You hear, it's become a cultural thing and it's no big deal. And so for me, it is disgusting in how it's been, the access to it, what it has done. I do believe most states will end up voting for abortion so that women can have it. And I think that's the right move to make. But again, the exceptions are so small. You know what I mean? They're so small. In any case they're bringing up, they're not really valid. So it's an issue that I just think people, killing a child is just seen as no big deal. They don't really care about it at all. And it's so preventable. It's just, I don't know.
Melanie, let me ask some stats for you, because personally, it's I think it probably hit our community the hardest as well, because when you look at the stats, I found something here that said the CDC reported in 2021 that black women accounted for 41.5% of abortions in the U.S. If you use that number consistently along the just the years, just to try to get an estimate of how many babies that is since we were allowed to have abortions, you could just estimate that we've aborted probably about 25 million black babies, and that's I'm sure it has an
Incredible.
impact. And I have a similar story. My mom, actually, I'm not sure if you're here, Ma, I love you if you are. Probably gonna get a little personal here, but I actually said it before, but she actually recently admitted to me, probably 3 months ago. I never knew this, but my mom told me that she actually was also assaulted, and here I am the result. So when you talk about and listen, I understand a woman saying, I don't want to get raped and have to have a baby. That's a very practical thing to not want to put yourself through. But again, as people who understand life, and especially if you're a believer, you just kind of understand that it really is these mysterious ways. Because thank God my mom still went through and had me regardless, because we wouldn't be all here having this conversation today.
Absolutely.
Everybody wouldn't have been impacted by Hardly Initiated and whatever else, other impact I'm going to have further in this world. So it's a very touchy, topic. But I do understand, the sentiments on both sides. I'm just not with it being birth control. As somebody who was a part of casual sex culture, and I know guys who still are, a lot of us are literally having casual sex with in mind. As soon as, if anything were to happen, literally the next step is abortion. That's how we handle it. Mm-hmm. Abortion is the new condom, unfortunately. And that's how it's being, how our culture has abused it. So it's weird if you give our culture this leg up. If you let people drink alcohol, now you're going to have alcoholics. But do I ban alcohol? How do we handle that? So it's a very tricky and touchy issue. But D1, I didn't really get your thoughts on this one here, and we're gonna circle back around, Ryan, to the point that you had brought up prior. But D1, what's your thoughts on this?
For sure. I think when Anthony started out, he made a good point that I've been holding on to about. He was saying that he's not Christian because he feels like there's a lot of flip-flopping on this issue and a lot of hypocritical dialogue around this issue inside of Christianity. And I agree, because I think that the problem with a lot of Christians when it comes to abortion is people want to try to legislate morality. And you can't legislate morality. Everyone who is on here trying to talk about, abortion is something that people are just running to, and if they got easy access to it, they're going to do it. It's still a decision that they're making. And if people, as Christians, we have to not be so susceptible to saying, we just feel like abortion is the problem, because prior to abortion, oftentimes was premarital sex. But I don't hear anyone talking about fornication being the issue that we need to deal with. That's a matter of the heart. You feel me? That's a decision that people make that leads to them saying, oh, this casual sex led to where I'm having an abortion. And people tend to want to run to the legislation as the solution for something that's really a matter of the heart. And when we think about the Jesus that we serve, Jesus was about love. Jesus wasn't about, think about God. God being omnipotent, omnipresent, and God creating us, right? If God wanted to, he could have saved himself a lot of headache and a lot of hurt by saying, I'm not going to give them free will. I'm not going to allow them to do what they want to do in life. I'm not going to allow them to make choices on a daily basis. I'm going to just create them, but they have to basically be robots the way I want them to be. But God allows us this free will. And with that being said, we think about that and it's like, okay, if God has given us free will, God is showing us that it's not about do the right thing according to the fact that I'm making you do it all the time. It's I want your heart to be to where even if you have the choice to sin on a daily basis, your love and admiration and surrendering of your free will to me, to my will, is what you want to push forward with. So that's the God that we serve. And this is as a Christian, me speaking. And ironically, right before this, I just posted something on my Instagram page. And it was something that felt like a breath of fresh air in this super contentious time of election season. even in the Christian community where a lot of Christians are at war with one another, a lot of people are just looking to get mad at another Christian. Like, wait, you're voting for this person? That means you're for killing babies. And it's like, let's be honest. Neither candidate is running on an agenda to say, hey, we want to totally, like, completely ban abortion, period. Like, abortion at any stage or any level is wrong. That's simply not a fact. But what I'm wanting all Christians, anyone who is a believer, and that's why I respect what Anthony said earlier, because he's like, yo, I don't identify as Christian, so this might not apply to him. But this pastor named Brian Zahnd, he wrote something called the Christian Voters Guide, because there's no way that Christians should start being at war with each other and beefed out behind, you voted for this candidate, I voted for this candidate. Although we serving the same Jesus, we can't coexist anymore. It shouldn't be like that. And I want to read y'all what he said for the Christian Voters Guide. This is extremely, extremely powerful. This is amazing. He said, number one, the political process, while necessary, has little to do with how God is saving the world. Number two, the fate of the kingdom of God does not depend upon political contests. Number three, don't be naive. Political parties are more interested in Christian votes than they are in Christian values. Number four, the bottom line for political parties is power. The bottom line for a Christian is love, and therein lies the rub. Number five, while in pursuit of the ring of power, you are not permitted to abandon the Sermon on the Mount. Number six, if your political passion makes it hard for you to love your neighbor as yourself, you need to turn it down a notch. Number seven, your task is to bring the salt of Christian civility to an ugly and acrimonious political process. Number eight, to dismember the body of Christ over politics is a grievous sin. Number nine, exercise your liberty to vote, your conscience and conviction, while accepting that other Christians will do the same and vote differently than you. And finally, number 10, it's more important that your soul be filled with love than it is for your political team to win the game. And that right there, as a Christian, that's something that really is important to make sure that we don't allow this process to make us feel like if you voting for this person, you're not Christian. Or if you voting for this person, you don't love God the same way I love God, because that means that you're for killing babies, or you're for you don't like this race, or any of that stuff. It's something
I'm sorry. I'm getting lost. It just feels like word salad.
Word salad,
like,
yeah,
100%. On about all these different things, and I can't really nail down what you're talking about.
Are you a Christian, Melanie? Are you a Christian?
Salad. It's just
are you a Christian?
Talking about all this stuff, and it really there's no concrete
Melanie,
points.
are you
It's
a
like
Christian?
Kamala. There's no
Melanie,
policy.
are you a Christian?
It's just feel
Melanie,
good language.
Melanie, are you a Christian?
Yes, I'm a Christian, born and raised, went to Christian school, went to Christian college. Like,
and that was word salad.
This is why.
And that was word.
Hold on. To do with any of this. Everything that you said was some pastor giving word salad points that, in my opinion, really didn't nail down anything. Like let's move the conversation ahead.
That's the
because
problem.
It's not
that's
a problem. You.
That's the problem.
What you just said. Does anybody even understand one point of his? Could anybody repeat back what he said, or does it sound like Kamala and one of her word salad speeches?
That's the problem. Y'all, listen, some of y'all, unfortunately, have turned this political race and these political parties and these candidates into idols, to the point where y'all mention Trump more than y'all mention Jesus.
But no, it's not even about that. It's not even about that.
Generalities about everybody else. You seem to want to judge everybody else's Christianity and their religious walk. That is not your place.
I need you to do like a cogent point.
Where their walk is, or where their heart is, or that they see Trump as Jesus. Let's get into some real policy points and not this touchy-feely spiritual word salad that you're putting out there. It makes no sense. It's not moving the needle. Let's move on.
Baby, my spirit is irritating your demons. That's the problem.
No, you but see, look,
no, your demons.
Hold on. Melanie, hold on. G-Wayne.
Oh my
Listen.
God.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Literally.
Wait.
I'm literally saying how Christians need to stick together even amidst this, and the first thing come out your mouth is word salad. That just don't even.
It was word
Look,
salad.
but
I
D-Wayne-
can keep it real. Do you not want me to tell you truth, or do you want me to give you?
Let's actually. I want to get to. Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Let's actually get to. Let's get to ABL.
What's
ABL.
biblical about what you just said, baby? What's biblical about what you
Okay,
just
I
said?
don't listen. This is not a debate about my spirituality, my
Oh, you're talking
Christianity.
about
These
truth.
are about the points. You are taking it
There's
to a
only
place
one
where
truth.
you've made things personal. You're asking people personal
No.
questions that are none of your business, and it has nothing to do with
What
a
did I ask
political
you?
debate.
What did I
Let
ask you?
us
What
move
did I ask
on.
you?
This is
What did
not
I
how
ask
you
you?
conduct something,
What
and
did
you
I
keep
ask you?
making personal judgments about people that you do not know.
What
This is
judgment?
not productive.
What judgment?
Hold on, wait.
Let's-
Hold on,
let's-
wait.
yeah.
Hold on, wait. Hold
You
tight.
mad?
Hold tight.
Oh, you
No,
tight.
it's just that it was just he's so long-winded with this thing, and I could not land down anything that he was saying.
Man,
It's just-
welcome,
it's just
welcome,
this
listen,
word salad.
welcome to what it feels like
Oh my
to
God.
listen to Donald Trump run for political.
So hold on, wait. So
That's what
hold
you
hold
talking
tight.
about.
Hold tight, real quick. ABL, did you have an actual point
You
to make?
tight over there. Look at it. Why are you so tight?
What I wanted to say is I was listening. Look, I didn't want to interrupt. Really, after a few seconds, I wanted to be like word salad, but I let him finish.
Yeah.
I want to let him get the full word out so he can express himself and really get everything. Reading down the list at 10 points, I'm like, my man, you're not saying anything. And this right here is part of the reason, another reason why I'm not Christian, because you go to church and you hear this kind of pastoring and it's nothing. People that want to go feel good and they want to hear things and make them feel nice
Right.
and warm and fuzzy and stuff like that. They get this kind of information. But a man like me and a lot of my friends and women, we don't like that. We're not trying to go hear some smooth talking guy just, kind of pimp at us. We want to hear is real stuff, real substance. What you said lacked substance.
That's why
Christian
men have left
or no
the church.
Christian. Exactly.
That
That's why we're not
why
there.
they have left the
Because
church. in
if I'm gonna get
Because of
that, look, if I'm gonna get that on Sunday morning, I'm gonna watch
Hey.
football instead because you didn't give me
Well,
anything.
brother, I'm not
You didn't
surprised
give
by
me
that answer
anything.
from you. I'm
You
not
didn't
surprised
give
by that
me.
answer.
Sorry, you don't know me though. You don't know me. You know nothing
Right, he
about me.
keeps
No, you
making
just- no,
personal
listen,
judgments about
You
people
know
you
nothing about
don't
me.
know.
Listen, brother.
It's
If
bizarre.
you saying that you're not Christian, then I would say that a pastor.
But you don't know. But you don't
who
know
wrote
me.
about- listen, if you're saying that you're not Christian, then a pastor who wrote about, this is where amidst this election season, where Christians shouldn't become divided and put politics above our love for Christ, I wouldn't be surprised if you're like, that just sounds like baloney to me. With all due
Make a
respect.
difference.
But you're the
Like,
only
how-
person
No,
that's
no, no, no,
talking
no.
down to people
doesn't
just
make a
like
difference.
Obama and making
How's
judgments
that
of where we
talking
are.
down to people?
You just told me you're stirring
So
up
guys,
my
at this point, we not even. So at this point, we have
Bro,
completely.
you come across as
Guys,
weird.
we
I'm just gonna
gotta,
say it. Like,
because
you're
now,
hold tight, hold
guys,
tight, hold
hold
tight.
tight,
Really
hold
word
tight,
salad.
hold tight,
You getting
guys.
you gave a
upset.
hard
Because,
doctrine of
guys,
the word, then we can talk.
guys,
Hold tight, man.
At this point, we're.
Why you getting so mad?
Hold on, wait, hold on, D.
Hold tight, D1.
Because right now we not even at this point we have completely exited all substance. We literally just talking back and forth at each other. And what I want to do at this point is I want to get the community involved because we went through three major topics that's happening. Tomorrow people are heading down to the polls, and the purpose of this is to give people some insight, some education, and give them some information that's going to help them make the best decision at the polls tomorrow. So actually, let's do two things. One, let's do one thing here. Let's drop a poll to ask who our people are voting for. Two, let's actually go ahead and put the Zoom link because I want my people to come backstage. This is going to be rapid fire very briefly. Okay, I want you to be brief and brilliant, not tell me your life.
And you got to tell them exactly what you want from them because I'm getting ready to drop that in there. And yeah,
Absolutely.
and be patient with us, guys. We doing the production. We got all these people in there. Lano, take your time. Take your time because we want people to look good. So take your time and do your thing.
Absolutely, but what I want you to
I
do
just dropped
is
that link. I'm
literally,
appealing to the top.
I just want you to tell me who you are voting for and why. Be brief and brilliant. You will have no more than 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And we will go ahead and go to the next person. I'm going to just bring a couple people up, and that's how we're going to close out tonight's show.
Yeah.
First of all, I appreciate everybody. Again, this was a passionate discourse. That's what I expect nonetheless. We talking politics, but again, thank y'all, every single one of y'all for coming up.
And real quick, I'm not going to drop that poll. I'm just going to close it out. We're done for the polls today. This was the last one. Should abortion access be banned? 57% of people, this is 16 to 7, this is pretty much 1,700 votes. 7% of people say yes. You got 30% at no, and then you got another 14% at undecided. So it looks like, I'm assuming without those three major things, exceptions that we talked about, people looking to ban abortion. But this is something that is going to be taken care of on the state level. So I'm going to close that poll out. And then I'm going to go real quick to some super chats. Don't forget, guys, we highlighting super chats, but it's really over $20, guys, because super chats is really going nuts. I'm even having a hard time pulling these things up.
Go ahead and read it.
Actually, listen.
You want to read bring the first guest? Let's go ahead and bring the first guest up.
There's so many super chats. We're going to read them in a second.
Let's go ahead and bring him up
bring
here.
him up.
So they said we know this guest very well. I'm excited. Let's see
who
who
we
we
got
got.
right here?
I don't know. I can't see.
All right.
What's up? How are you?
What's going on? I love you guys.
Wait, hold on, wait. You got somebody.
You got the
No.
wrong person. You got the wrong
We
person
got the
on
wrong person unmuted. Look, everybody backstage need to mute.
Yeah.
You not the one who talking backstage. That's up right now.
And Audrey, you coming in with the smoke. They got the blue around you, so I think we know your political
Make
stand.
sure you unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
We sure can.
Do me a favor. Give me your name, your age, and your location.
Okay, my name is Audrey. I'm in Atlanta and I'm 27.
All right. Who you voting for?
I'm certainly voting for Kamala. To me, there's no other option. And I didn't really have a question, but I watched.
What you got to say?
It's so who you voting for and why. That's pretty much it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. There we go. I was about to ask what were we supposed to be saying? I'm voting for Kamala because even if I didn't want to vote for Kamala, I haven't heard them say a single thing that would move the needle for Trump. Kamala, to me, is the only one who has presented a plan for Black men, even if other candidates, the previous presidential candidates over the course of the history of our country, they've never even presented, like Melanie said, a fake plan for Black men. So even if, Kamala's plan for Black men was fake, no other candidate has ever presented a fake or real plan for Black men. Kamala is the only candidate that actually has any type of integrity. Kamala is the only candidate that actually has been a lifelong politician who's genuinely qualified to be a president or any type of political leadership. And I don't understand how someone with a history like Donald Trump has since the 1970s, he has a history of being racist, especially towards Black people. His track record proves that, from the housing discrimination that he did to the 5 Black men that he took out news, pages for to accuse of something that they didn't do, from the comments that he made about the Charleston guy, called him fine people for literally harming and being violent to citizens who were peacefully protesting, even to now calling Kamala's brain small and insulting her intelligence simply because she's running against him.
There we go.
It shows that.
Hold on, wait. We got.
Okay, I'm done.
I got to. You at your 30 seconds. Actually, you're a little bit more. But I wanted you to get that off your chest there.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Audrey, for coming up here and letting us know who you voting for. Go ahead, Ryan.
And we'll give the panelists, we'll choose a panelist to go ahead and talk about that. Just a second.
Okay.
I just want to. Matter of fact, Melanie, you was making so many faces on that one. How do you respond to what Audrey has just said?
It was just. I mean, it just speaks to how Democrats have always operated. Even if it's a fake plan for Black men, at least she lied to their faces and pandered and finessed and scammed for votes. What? Like, that's the criteria now, that it was insulting. And the fact that it's okay to come up with a fake, to scam for votes, to finesse Black men, I think is outrageous. But this is what the Democrat Party has been doing for years, making promises every 4 years and never fulfilling anything. They have been scamming and finessing the Black community for votes. And it's almost like she's been programmed to say, yeah, that's okay.
Too much TV.
At least she respects Black men enough to lie to them to their face.
Wow.
So we got somebody else back here. Ryan, you want to get some super chats before we go to the next one?
Yep. Shout out to Purpose Over Potential again, going crazy tonight. We appreciate you. D1 Pretty Quiet is giving he doesn't believe his own stance. Can we debate why D1 is voting for a president that supports transgenders and abortions, but he claims to be Christian? Very interesting. Shout out to Danny Shade. Says 85,000 babies are aborted monthly. Of those, 40% are by Black women. Black only make up 8% of the Black population. Abortions are up 12% since handing Roe v. Wade back to the state. Women need better management. Shout out to K-Ann again. We love you, K-Ann. When abortion happens late term, it's a terminal diagnosis. Christians generally want to pray for a miracle, but science-believing folks want to lower risk of carrying a baby that will die soon after birth anyway. This is my last one before we introduce the guest we just brought up. Shout out to Kenny Three Sacks. According to the CDC, black people are 14% of the country, but black women lead all races at 38% of all abortions in the U.S. How can you have generational wealth with no generations? We are voting for our own genocide. Very interesting. Let's announce the next year.
Absolutely. We got you on here, brother. Go ahead and give me your name, your age, and your location.
What's going on, everybody? Appreciate y'all for having me on. My name
Absolutely.
is Isaiah. I'm 25, and I'm from Georgia. And I will be casting my vote for Donald Trump.
Okay.
Wow.
There we go. Look, one sister already went for Kamala.
Change
and
that
then
little ring to red on the
we got
thing.
Donald Trump, and we got my brother here coming up for Donald Trump.
Now, that's fine. I ain't worried about the color too much, man.
It's all good. Tell me why.
Well, one of the main reasons why, and like I said, I'm only 25, but what I try to do for the most part is really do a lot of reading and research. So when it comes to Donald Trump, one thing that I researched is that he actually has done a lot with Black people and very prominent figures in our community, such as Jesse Jackson, Nelson Mandela, and also Mike Tyson. But that's just celebrities. You know what I'm saying? As far as like with the housing development and the plans that he's had, I think it was exactly for the Trump Tower. The lead director was a woman. And I think it was about like 30-something% of the people that were employed were Black people. And the fact that he hasn't mentioned that just shows to me his humility. You know, so I really do think that he's really not doing this for himself. He's a billionaire, could have been on the boats, could have been chilling anywhere that he wanted to. But he chose to run for 8 years while being criticized. And like for the most part, he's really been demonized and dehumanized in every aspect that I've seen. And
Okay.
I just don't feel that it's really fair.
There you have
So
it.
yeah, that's why I'm voting for.
There you have it. Well, thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you for coming up here and sharing. And already I'm already seeing a pattern. I told Delano just now, I want to see if we could bring a man and a woman on. Only gonna bring a couple more. I want to just keep flip flopping
And I
it
just wanna
because
say-
I want to see if we can get a pattern here. But go ahead.
Look, I would say, I most definitely I rock with you, D1, even though we're like obviously on political opposites, but everything that you're doing with like the Platinum Pledge, like I've even seen a couple of your posts that you made online, bro. I love your work. Like I said, and I even agree with you. This should not separate Christians, but I think there is a very, very, very clear divide as far as when it comes to the politics on these things, and we should be able to, on both sides, have a decent conversation to where we can hear each other out instead of calling each other names and doing things like that. So I do appreciate y'all for coming up here. Because
Hey,
we
man,
know-
hey,
Whoa,
hey, let me tell you, I'll vote this brother right here.
I got a
I'll
question for
vote
you.
this brother.
I just want to, because I'm getting all kind of texts. You know, folks text me. I just want to ask a couple people want me to ask you. One, do you believe in marriage? And two, do you believe in 100% provision from the man?
I most definitely believe in marriage. And as far as like 100%, I think if it's something that you can do, you should do. But if you can't, as far as for something to work towards, that should most definitely be the idea. Because to an extent, like with gender roles, I think things do function much better when the man is providing for the most part financially, because the woman, in a sense, she can really be able to support more in a way where she's not worried about finances. So I feel like that's just a completely different level of support.
No,
And
thank
we
you.
got it. We got it.
Thank you for being brief and brilliant on that one.
yeah, that was
and,
really
and
good.
get some context because people are like,
Well,
why the hell did you ask that
Well, see,
question?
the reason why I asked that because I'm just looking at the chat. I'm getting text messages. The ladies are blowing my phone up. They're like, "Hey, black men in mass don't believe in marriage, and black men don't believe in paying the bills. So how can you align with conservatism if you don't accept what it entails?" So
You know what?
That's what
How
the
about
ladies
this?
are saying.
Let me actually do
relaying
this.
The question.
Before we go ahead and bring my next lady up. I want a lady up. Let me ask. I want to ask you this, ABL. In the meantime, can a brother really be conservative if he doesn't believe in marriage?
Now, I think people are confusing different things. Your
Okay.
conservative behavior, like, so you got conservative, traditional conservative, and then you have how you vote. That's different.
Okay.
Like, I know guys that's LGBT, that's 100% Trump supporters. Like, so you can have whatever kind of lifestyle you want to live at the house. That's your life. You do your thing. We talking about policy, that's something totally different.
And why, Melanie? Why do you think, or D1? Why do you think those things are all kind of thrown together? When people
What do you
speak,
mean?
Because when people say, hey, you're a conservative, they assume, hey, it's also all of these lifestyle things included in the way that you vote as well.
I mean, I think it's because, you know, they always tie it to like Christian values. You know, you will see more Christians being, especially evangelical, white evangelicals being Republican, and they assume that Republican means conservative. These are actually different terms that have been blended together. It's not the same thing. But I will say, if we want to get into should men pay all the bills and should they do this, that, and the other, I mean, that's the whole, you know, I cut my teeth in the whole dating market, and I was a mentee of Kevin Samuels, so that may not be where we want to go right now.
She said, y'all already know where I stand.
Right.
So check it out. I actually got my sister here. What's up with you, sister? How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
I'm blessed. Give me your name, your age, and your location.
I'm Nastasia. I'm 34. I'm actually in Europe right now.
Woo!
Oh, it's nighttime over there, ain't it?
Nastasia, wait, you got a citizen? Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. So who you voting for?
I would be voting for Trump.
Whoa! Wow. We got a woman voting for Trump. See, I thought she broke the pattern. Okay, and why is that?
Yeah, multiple reasons. Well, one of the reasons is that God already showed me that Kamala, the things that she's for is completely against him. So she's literally a walking altar. And so I'll never stand and vote for an altar that's against the altar of God. Like, I didn't do all this work of getting rid of generational curses to then come into agreement with somebody who's literally bull-faced against God. Like, I don't care about anything else. Because at the end of the day, what we see in the Bible is that for idolatry, God gives wicked leadership. When the Israelites were idolatrous, he said out of his wrath, he gave them King Saul, right? So, you know, my brother up here with the hat on, sorry, I don't know your name.
ABL.
But I know you're not a Christian, but I want you to know that all Christians don't fall for anything, okay? All Christians stand for when you're actual, not unactual, but like when you raise up inside of yourself and you really continue to submit to God, and you continue to lay down your presuppositions, your predispositions and everything. And he's like, and you look at things for face value, you see what he stands for and what he doesn't. And that's how you make your decisions. Everything else becomes a moot point after that because you don't want to be on the wrong side of him. So I think putting God in reverence and honor and respecting him is above everything else. And everything else from my own personal life will fall into place because of that, because he will honor my obedience to what he says above anything else. It doesn't even matter what else happens in the world. And so
wait, hold tight, because I think you gave us quite a bit. I want to throw this to D1 because this seems to be the rhetoric. I mean, we literally had Tiffany Montgomery on the platform,
and she literally said Kamala's a witch.
Correct, and it's not just her. I have seen loads of people communicating this. So D1,
for sure,
when you get Christians specifically, or just people in general, who are communicating that there could potentially be one of the candidates who practices or somehow is affiliated with the dark side of spirituality, what do you think about that when you hear that?
I don't think too much of it because I've heard people say the same thing about Donald Trump. So honestly, I don't put too much stock into when people say that. And also, as a man of God, you know, I'm focused on loving people the way Jesus did. When people lead with God told me this, God told me that, that's something that I think we have to be very careful about because that serves as a shield for whatever they're about to say after that, because no one wants to be on the side of saying, you lying, God ain't tell you that. So when people lead with that, my thing is like inside Christianity, I'm not trying to discount or and I love what this sister out there in Europe, Imani, is speaking about. Like I genuinely love her heart. I think that when people say that God showed me this or God revealed this to me about this candidate or about this person, I think a lot of Christians have experienced, like I've had hundreds of people say that God told them that I was their husband. You know what I mean? And that right there let me know that, man, a lot of people are hearing a voice, but they'll attribute that voice to God, you know, and it's well-meaning Christians. It's real God-fearing believers. But when we get to the point, I don't think that Trump or Kamala is the Antichrist. I don't think that either one of them is going to lead to the end of the world. And guess what? If the world does end, we going to heaven. So what we worried about? You hear me? Like people.
Well, I want to say one thing before I
go
go.
ahead.
Make it brief. Make it brief.
Very brief. Very brief.
Make it very brief. Whenever anybody gets a revelation from God, he still speaks. There's Rhema word, there's Logos word, right? Whenever he speaks, if it doesn't line up with scripture, then it's not him. It's not a familiar spirit, right? So if abortion and Moloch and even everything in the scripture, if you're looking at somebody who's literally standing for all the things that God calls an abomination, and I'm like, okay, this person, I hear that she's an altar. Then other people are like, hey, she's a witch. I didn't hear she was a witch, but I knew she was an altar because God said it. And then I go to the word and it says that can't be a familiar spirit. Familiar spirits don't speak the word of God in the way that God wants to say it so that what's going on. They speak it in a way to twist you.
Okay,
so
wow.
I don't think that's really a fair argument. But thank you guys. God bless
thank you.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Ryan,
yeah, D1 listen.
Ryan, just to expound upon that young lady's heart and her comment that she made. Like, people speak as if Trump is totally anti-abortion. Trump is not anti-abortion. So that's the thing, to where if that is being used as the grounds for why Kamala is a witch to some people and is an altar to other people, that's the thing, is like Trump is not sitting here like, you're on this side of the issue and I'm completely against abortion. So that's where the goalpost moves, and I see that, and I think people don't want to admit that when they've already made their mind up. Once again, I'm here tonight. I got a dip by 10 p.m., but I'm here tonight to speak to people that are undecided, once again, because when people have made their mind up, they're going to say whatever they have to say and move the goalposts to fit whatever narrative they want to continue to buy into. And myself included, man, I had a conversation with Donald Trump with his wife, you heard me, with his old lady. Like, I done met with her before. We did a speaking engagement together. Like, I don't have any hate or vitriol towards that man, towards his family at all. And it's just something to where I wouldn't call him a witch. I don't feel like he's the Antichrist. But when I see that rhetoric from people who support him towards Kamala, it's just like, it just hit different, because I firmly disagree that she's the Antichrist or that he's the Antichrist. I just want to go on record.
Thank you for sharing. We got 5.
Absolutely. We hold tight, because we get ready to close it out. We know D1, you got to go, and we just respect, both ABL and Melanie's time. So real quick, shout out to 7N. I'm a conservative and voted Trump, but bro, you don't want a real relationship with God, because other people are hypocrites. Just because you jump don't mean I'm gonna follow you. Shout out to Dwayne Johnson. D1, since you're undecided, my question, I don't believe he says undecided, he's independent. He says, my question with you being a man of God, what's your position with Kamala's stance on abortion and Wall State allowing them to term abortion? We're speaking about that now. Shout out to Maria Lewis says, as a believer, God gives us a choice and he gives us grace and mercy for our mistakes and missteps. Have the same pro-life energy with Black lives and the number of death penalty killings during Trump presidency. This last one I'm gonna read right here. Shout out to Revon Kirkendall. Most laws regulate morality, especially in your immorality harms others in society. Abortion kills someone else who is defenseless, and the dad who also created this life may not agree.
There you have it. This is going to be the last caller that we taking here for tonight, and we going out here with a bang. This is a familiar face to me. It look like this is my big uncle right here calling in from Thailand. It's Will, man.
Oh, Will, what's up, man?
What's up, Will? How you living?
Boy, you looking real healthy over there, man. You look different,
That's
bro.
that vegan diet. You lost all your damn fat in your body. You're hungry. Go
This man
eat.
moved from the U.S. to Thailand.
Go eat. So, but let me ask you, for people who don't know, you give me your age, your age, your name, your age, and your location.
My name is Will. I'm 43, and I'm currently living in Thailand.
With that strong Brooklyn accent, that's family right there. That's my roots. All right.
The Bronx.
Oh yeah. All right, but let's talk about it. Who you voting for?
Yeah. Well, I'm sitting this one out actually, but if I was voting, I would probably lean more towards Trump.
Okay, and why is that?
I believe that as a people, I look at things through the lens of a Black American because that's how I identify. And I've come to the belief that identity politics is destructive to our people. And I don't appreciate the fact that Kamala and the left-wing party leans on identity politics while at the same time refusing to do anything specifically for the people that they lean on. I believe that they understand the most guaranteed way to success in American society is through a strong family, nuclear family. And nothing that I see in their messaging or their agenda goes to support a strong Black nuclear family. Everything that I see them do serves to divide us. So, you know, that and a number of things. I don't appreciate how Kamala panders to us, you know, telling us that she was smoking weed and listening to Tupac in college, but he was like 10 years old when she was in college. You know, telling us that she's like us, but she grew up in Canada. You know, it's just too many things that I see from that side that I just can't roll with.
Understood.
Can I just piggyback really quickly on something he said?
Let's hear it, Melanie.
Speaking of pandering, and this has not gone out, the mainstream, of course, is not going to pick it up. But I don't know if anyone has been following Candace Owens' investigation into her family history. It has been proven without a doubt that in her book that she published in 2019, she put a picture of herself with a Black woman in there and said that was her grandmother. It has come to find out that this was not her grandmother, but it was the help. She also pictured other Black people in there and said this was my aunt and uncle. But then have you noticed she starts saying there's family by blood and there's family by love?
Yeah, play cousin.
Because we found out that those weren't her aunts and uncles either in Harlem. You know, when she talks about washing her greens in the bathtub, I don't know a Black person alive that would wash greens in their bathtub. And she, you know, but this whole scandal about her family tree is extensive. That actually is what turned me completely off and really started to dig into her, who she is, her policies. And once you start to get into it, it's terrifying. But she literally faked this Black woman as her grandmother, and there have not been any other people identified in her family that are Black. People say, well, her father is. No, he actually identifies himself as Hindu and Irish. And so, and the only Black man that would, supposed Black man that would be in her life, the only Black family member that would be in her life, they have no relationship, and he's actually spoken out and condemned her. So when you talk about, and she did not grow up as you know, her ancestry is not chattel slavery. She's not African American. She is Indian and Jamaica. So
not like us.
She's brought up busing and all these different things that she did not go through. She literally lied, saying she's middle class. She grew up wealthy, mostly in Canada. So I don't want to go all into that. But again, they tried to use identity politics, and they even got mad at Trump for bringing it up. But it was Janet Jackson who brought it up about her father, and that's what caused Candace Owens to go into that, because she loves the whole, you know, Jackson family.
Wow.
Let me tell you, Melanie, thank you so much for your research. First of all, let me go ahead and say this right now.
And we'll appreciate you.
Will, thank you so much for coming up on here and giving us your perspective. Thank you very much, brother. And I know, let me tell you something. You want to go ahead and you want to split a room. All we got to do is talk religion and politics, and we did both tonight.
And
in fact, we do both all the time here on Hardly Initiated, and we're going to lean into the hard conversations. But I want to first set the record straight, because I get that a lot of us in the chat or watching may not agree with some things that we have said on either side. But I'll tell you, each one of these individuals are fantastic people and doing fantastic work. D1 is literally in the streets every day, changing the rap industry, changing our entertainment industry, and putting a positive a twist on an industry that you see has a ton to do with our everyday culture, our children's, our generation, and a lot of people that's out here doing foolishness, killing, the drill rap. I mean, it's really, I can't even go deep enough to talk about the impact that D1 has had already on the industry. And I love your work. I'm talking about ABL. These are all, by the way, everybody here, I vouch you to follow and you and to research, because let me tell you something. Melanie is researched.
Oh yeah.
She studies. She knows what she's talking about. Do not only sit into the echo chambers to hear what you agree with. Follow Anthony and listen to people who are researching other aspects, so we can make the best and most well-rounded decisions tomorrow at the polls, and not just on the presidential, guys, but also our local elections and anywhere else we can continue to impact our communities. All right, because that's what this is about.
And let's get out and vote tomorrow.
Yes.
If you haven't already, of course.
Keep in mind, okay, this is election week, so we're actually going to go ahead. You guys can come stay tuned and watch tomorrow because we'll be keeping up with the polls and we'll have further conversation. And it's typically Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m., but this week we'll do it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8 p.m. And, man, thank you guys for coming. I want to just ask final thoughts from all my speakers on here.
And let's make it brief and brilliant.
Let's make it brief and brilliant. D1, I know you got to get up out of here, brother. What's your final thoughts before you get up out of here?
First thought is I love y'all brothers so much. Thank y'all for what y'all doing. Y'all my brothers, and I'm really proud of y'all, how y'all continuing to grow. I think everybody that tuned in here tonight, like, man, this is life, y'all. This is life. People don't always have the same viewpoints, but God created all of us, and God put us on this earth together. So it's great that we can communicate. We can see the points about one another that we respect and love and appreciate, and even see the points that we disagree about. But it's all good. We should all be striving to be better than we were yesterday. Honestly, it's that simple. As I depart, once again, like they told y'all, I know some of y'all probably super familiar, but some might not be familiar with me. I'm D1 from New Orleans, Louisiana. Hip hop artist, have put 12 albums out in my career. The latest one is called Loaded. That stands for Life of a Disruptor, Evolving Daily. And it just debuted at #2 in the whole world behind Eminem. So y'all go check the new album out. Also, my new podcast is out. Thanks to Ryan and Tyshawn, I went ahead and started my podcast. It's called Flipping Tables with D1. You heard me?
There you have it.
I like that.
Yeah, Flipping Tables with D1. So we 6 episodes in right now. So y'all go right over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. DEE, the #1 music. It's on all audio platforms as well as on my YouTube channel. We almost at 200,000 subscribers already. So y'all go subscribe over there. And I truly love and appreciate y'all, man. And yeah, baby. Just know that tomorrow is one day, but after tomorrow, we still got to coexist in this world together. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I love y'all.
Let's do it. Absolutely. Another one. Melanie, tell me your final thoughts on this one here. First of all, Melanie, let me tell you, I'm gonna just start. You got some strong facial expressions, Melanie.
No. We need those. I love good. Let us know how you feel.
I love it, Melanie. Listen, but go ahead, sister.
I'm sorry. No, I mean, like I said, I've been. Again, I'm independent. So when I did my research and started digging, and I found out like a lot of the things about Trump that was said that I used to believe, like, there was good people on both sides about white supremacists. It wasn't true. Like many of the things that the media said. And so I started digging into, listening to what the media was saying. I would say, oh, they're playing only part of this clip, and then they're running with a narrative. We just saw this, what they did with Liz Cheney, and there's multiple things. And so as I did my own research, I didn't take what anyone told me. This is what I would say to people. Don't take what any of us have to say. Do your own research. I would say a good website for that is one called American Debunk. And it is really good at taking every single thing that you may have heard about Donald Trump, and it just blew my mind that I was not exposed to the truth. And I'm not some hardcore MAGA person. I'm just an independent who did research on both. And so I just, I don't want to sway anybody either way, but be informed before you go to the polls and, make the best decision for you and your family.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you very much, Melanie. I appreciate you for coming up on here. Big Dog, ABL, what's your final thoughts before we hit these polls tomorrow, man?
All right. So first of all, thank y'all, Ryan, Tyshawn. I appreciate y'all for inviting me on here. This was good to be able to speak to people that may not normally hear me, because the whole thing, I think I might have been D1 and you guys talking about the echo chamber. You don't want to be in the echo chamber. You want to be able to talk to everybody. And that's what I do. Anybody that want to talk to me, I'll talk to them. I don't care who you are, black, white, young, old. I'll talk to anybody about anything. So that's the first thing. But beyond that, when you go to the poll, think about how life has been for you for the past 4 years, because Kamala's been in office, vice president, but she has responsibility. So do you want a continuation of the past 4 years? Let's be serious. She's going to have the same staff, the same people. It's the same old thing. Do you want that, or do you want to go back to when Trump was in office? 17, 18, 19, pandemic, that was the whole world. You can't really fault anybody for that. But which was better? Think about it. That's all I got. Oh, also, before I continue, before y'all get it, y'all follow me everywhere. Website, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN. Follow me on YouTube. You can search ABL. I'll pop right on up. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I'm everywhere. ABL.
There you have it.
Yep,
We got it.
You remember I told you guys we'll highlight those super chats. Anything over 20 tonight. Usually it's 10, but we did anything over 20 tonight. So I'm gonna close out with these last two. Shout out to Nicole, one of our fantastic initiates. She says, kicking men out of your rally for yelling Jesus is Lord as you defend and mask the murder of babies as women's health care, ain't it? Pure evil, a red wave is coming. Very interesting, Nicole. We appreciate you for sending that over. And we got one more.
You got it?
Shout out to Wesley Devine. Yep, Barack Obama claims that black men are being misogynist for not voting for Kamala, but didn't think so when he was fighting Hillary for primary votes in 2008. Very strong opinions from the initiates and the viewers. That's fantastic. I just really like how people are getting passionate and involved in something that's very, very important for us. So take that passion to the polls and vote if you haven't already. And this was so new. Man, this was excellent. We could not have had any better guests. The participation, the guests, everything was fantastic.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys. We see that our audience is obviously, man, we got a very intelligent audience, man.
Oh, yeah.
They like to talk deep about spirituality. Like, they like to find solutions about family relationships, and they also want to be politically educated and make the right decisions, and they have these conversations as well. So as we grow and we evolve, we're going to figure out how to bring all of these conversations to you the best way that we know how to do so. And listen, it's only going to get better. Y'all stay tuned and get ready for tomorrow. Make sure you already subscribe to Hardly Initiated, y'all. Please do not
sub it up.
Hit that subscription button for us. It makes, again, a tremendous impact to the platform and all of the growth and the guests that we're able to bring to you on a regular basis. Just makes us more credible, guys. Please go ahead and do that, and we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be going ahead and going through the selection. We'll have the poll results for you live and talking more to the community, as we would have then already been out to the polls, seeing what actually went down in the streets. So y'all want to be here tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and Wednesday. And do not leave here without getting your Hardly in Love dating deck. When I tell you this is one of the best gifts that you can get somebody and even yourself, I have not got one bad review about it yet. This is a party starter. Get the conversation going and flowing. So make sure you have this here in your collection. The link is in the description.
Always in the description.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And man, much love to everybody here. Y'all already know how we do it. Hardly Initiated. We are out.